What's good, everybody? SG Scouts here, back with another video. Today we're going to be looking at Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons, one of the best players in college football in 2019, and a top prospect for next year's draft. Some people are saying he's the best linebacker prospect since Luke Kuechly. I must say his tape was very fun to watch, and he's definitely got a lot of promise in his game. The only thing I could see hurting his draft stock is possibly the way that the NFL values the linebacker position today. That's a longer discussion. Today we're just going to break down the traits that we like from him and then also look at some areas in which he can improve. But before we get into the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Let me know if there's a player you want to see in the next film session. And without further ado, cue the tape. In today's NFL, linebackers have to be able to cover. And it can be a difficult task when you consider that they have to have the speed to cover running backs and the strength to cover tight ends. But Micah Parsons has the physical makeup to be a good coverage linebacker in the NFL. And then he also combines the physical traits with very good mental traits. He's going to display very good route anticipation on this play as he's working against the tight end on the bottom of the screen who's going to be running a slant. We'll see Micah stays very calm at the beginning of the route. As soon as he breaks off to the middle, Micah just fires on it. So he has very good closing quickness to make a play on that ball. And the thing I really do like the most is the patience with his footwork at the beginning. You know, he realizes he has boundary support from the sideline. As soon as he sees that head fake, he knows he can fire inside. And he almost overruns the play. That's how quickly he recognized the route. Now Parsons can do it in man coverage and in zone coverage. On this play, Penn State's going to drop into a cover 3 with Micah playing a hook/curl zone on the bottom of the screen. And the number 2 receiver for Memphis on that weak side is going to be running a quick curl. And Micah's going to display very good mental traits in coverage as he's going to have very good route anticipation and processing. As he's going to stay square to the line of scrimmage and keeping his eyes on the quarterback while also having the awareness to notice the route coming into his zone and then having the very good closing quickness to make a play on the ball. He almost had a pick 6 for himself right there. But this is textbook linebacker play in zone coverage. And this is a pretty mild play, but I think it displays his range and speed and coverage well, as Penn State's going to be playing a Tampa 2 with Parsons being the deep middle zone. And he's going to end up carrying the number 3 receiver on the top of the screen who's running a vertical route. He just shows great speed as he comfortably carries that route downfield. I think the combination of very good physical and mental traits in coverage is going to make him a weapon against passing offenses in the NFL. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why he's going to go so high in next year's draft. Micah is also a very good run defender. He provides the full package as he's able to diagnose plays very quickly, understanding his gap leverage, and then he also has the athleticism and bend to evade blockers and get in the backfield. On this play, Ohio State's going to be running an outside zone to his side, as he is the weak side linebacker. We'll see that number 73 on Ohio State's going to be double teaming 54 and then climbing up to Parsons. You'll just see how quickly Parsons understands the play. He can take a quick outside step and then get skinny in the hole. Does well to evade the blocker and then make the tackle. Also does well to strip the ball, make a big play for the defense. But this whole play is designed around 73 making that double team on 54 and then climbing up to Parsons. And if he's able to get to that to the point before Parsons, this is a big running play for Ohio State. But Parsons just so quick to understand what's going on, and then the bend and ankle flexion to be able to evade this blocker and make a game-changing play. Really impressive stuff. The truth is, it is almost impossible to run outside to Parsons' side because he is just so good at evading blocks in the open field. That athleticism, agility that he has just makes it hard for blockers to get hands on him. As we'll see on this play, Ohio State's going to be running an outside zone keeper with Fields to the weak side. We'll see there might be some miscommunication with the blocking assignments, but still Parsons does a good job. As number 2, the running back J.K. Dobbins isn't able to land on him. and he just makes him seem like isn't even there. Just does a great job of avoiding this block, making the tackle in the backfield. On this play, Parsons is going to display elite vision and just freakish range. He's going to start off as the middle linebacker, and Ohio State's going to be running an outside zone. And Parsons just takes a ridiculous angle and somehow beats the running back to the spot. He just takes a beeline outside. Impressive range and beats the running back to the spot and just stops the play. I mean, it is almost impossible to win on the outside when you're going up against Micah. Just insane range. At the next level, one of the big things is you have to be able to win in multiple ways, and for a linebacker, you have to be able to take on and beat blocks in multiple ways, and Parsons is able to do that. We've seen how he can beat blocks with his athleticism and bend, but he also has good play strength and good hand usage, as he shows on this play. Minnesota's going to be running inside with gap blocking, and Parsons is going to take on number 77. You see he does well to land his hands and move the player out of the way, and makes a play on the ball carrier. And he can do this consistently. He has a wide array of moves, and that makes him a very effective run defender. Here's another great example of the strength that Micah possesses, as Minnesota's going to be running outside, and Parsons is going to end up one-on-one in the open field with number 78, who looks about 6'6", 325, a huge human being compared to Parsons, who's no slouch himself. You see Micah actually does a great job holding the block, allowing time for support to come, creating a measly gain. Really impressive stuff, especially when you're considering the size mismatch. I mean, he has some real strength. This year's draft teams raved about Isaiah Simmons, saying that he is the solution to every defense's problem with offensive running option plays. And I think Parsons has similar ability. He might not be as elite of an athlete as Simmons, but I think he keys plays quicker. On this play, Ohio State's going to be running an option, as Parsons is the weak side linebacker. And we'll see he does well to flow with the offensive line, staying disciplined. And then as soon as he sees the quarterback keep that ball, explodes, showing off that athleticism yet again. Interestingly enough, he did actually play some defensive end at Penn State on some rare snaps. And he actually was pretty functional. On this play, he's going to be lined up on the left as the defensive end. And he's going to display good get-off. He even dips the shoulder a bit, and he actually creates some pressure on Fields. So this is interesting, this position versatility that he has. And I think it's something to keep an eye on. You know, we'll see how much playtime he gets at the position in 2020. But, you know, any way to fool offenses, and this position versatility has become very valuable in today's NFL. So this is just another positive about Parsons' game. Here's another pass rushing snap, as he's going to be lined up as the right defensive end. And this play is going to display a good pass rush plan, as he's going to fake outside and then burst back inside. And he actually creates some pressure against Fields. And also keep in mind, this is Ohio State's offensive line. This is, you know, one of the better schools in the country. So these are some pretty good offensive lines he's going up against. Just good athlete. You know, he could become a little more polished with his hands. You know, maybe improve that swim move that he attempted there a bit. But I'm not going to be too critical on him. But you do notice on this play they actually did save a touchdown, as the receiver at the bottom of the screen was wide open, but that pressure that Parsons created just kept Fields from throwing it for a split second, and that allowed the DB to recover, create a deflection. Now Parsons even has value as a blitzer. On this play, he's going to be running down the A gap, and he's going to display good hand quickness and a good swim move to get past the guard number 64 here and actually get a sack on the quarterback. I mean, Micah can do it all on the field, and that's going to make him a very valuable defensive player. And see, this hand quickness that he flashes here also makes me believe in him as a pass rusher at defensive end, or even on the inside. You know, defenses aren't going to know where he's going to line up on, let's say, a third down. Now, the only negative thing that I saw from him on tape was sometimes on inside runs, especially gap runs, he can try to avoid contact too much. I'd like to see him be more physical and show better competitive toughness against those inside gap runs. On this play, you'll see that instead of sort of taking on the block, he tries to dodge it, and it just creates a huge hole. And I would just like to see him be more physical and take the block head on and sort of clog the hole instead of always trying to use his athleticism to get skinny and avoid those blocks. Now here's another play where Ohio State's going to be running an inside gap run down the center, as 71's going to be matched up one-on-one with Parsons. And what I'd like to see from Micah is for him to attack vertically and take the block head on and clog that gap. But instead he's going to be attacking horizontally with his athleticism. And it's going to end up leading to a huge hole for the running back and lead to a good gain. Now there's a play earlier where we saw Parsons display his play strength and take the block and make the tackle. So this issue doesn't scare me too much, but I'd still like to see him be more consistent in this area and clean up his competitive toughness on these inside runs. Now to give my final thoughts on Micah Parsons and summarize what we saw on film, as always, this is the 7-point grading scale that we will be using, with 4 being that solid NFL average value and then going up or down from there. Looking at his traits overview, with the positives, he can do everything you'd want from a linebacker on the field. He's got the athleticism, the intangibles, the mental traits to be both a stout run defender and then also be shut down in pass coverage. And then he also has the position flexibility to play defensive end. And we saw that how he performed as a blitzer. So I think any defensive coordinator that gets him on his team will have a lot of fun playing around with his skill set. Then when it comes to the negatives, mainly just the inside run stuff, I'd like to see him be less hesitant, more decisive, and then also attack blocks head on more often. And for that reason, I think he'll start off as more of an outside linebacker where he can play more in space and use athleticism over his physicality more often than not. But since he has one more year of college, I'm not going to be projecting his skill set to the NFL just yet. So this is the end of the video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Let me know if I made any mistakes during the film session. And also please make sure to mention if there's a player you want to see in the next video. But yeah, I'm out.